Even if we got this data for free right now, we wouldn't use it. It's too much information.
You can have information overload and then you don't even know where to start. The device alone is not the solution. If you want to move the numbers, you have to move the people. The secret sauce was around the coaching and the engagement from our managers to our teammates. We tell our folks, you're also professional drivers that do pest control. We lead a fleet of about 17,000 vehicles and about 20,000 employees. There's no secrets when it comes to driver safety. And if we can learn something from someone or if we can give someone a tip on something, we're always looking to.
Welcome to another Geotab Connected Conversations. Today's topic is decades driving change through innovation, telematics, and customized reporting. I'm George Palmer, AVP for the Signature Accounts team, and with me today I have Mark and Kevin. Mark, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure, thanks. Mark Bretz, I'm the Vice President of Operational Services with Rollins. We lead a fleet of about 17,000 vehicles and about 20,000 employees. Been in the industry for about 30 years. Actually came via acquisition from Rollins. We were acquired in 2004, so been with the Rollins team ever since.
Nice, perfect. And Kevin?
My name is Kevin Lough, General Manager for GoGPS. I've been a Geotab reseller for over 15 years, and I'm the founder and CEO of GoAnalytics. GoAnalytics is an application that works alongside Geotab, and Rollins was the reason why we created GoAnalytics, and it's been a product of theirs for 6 years. It's now a marketplace product.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you guys for both joining us today. Rollins has been a customer since 2001. In fact, they were our first US customer. Mark, can you share a little bit about your history with continuous innovation over these 2 decades?
Yeah, first of all, thanks so much for having me. We appreciate it. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to know that Rollins was the first U.S. customer, and it says a lot about Rollins as a company and their commitment to safety and the teammate well-being very, very early in the game. So, yeah, we partnered with Geotab a long time ago to solve some very specific things we were working through, things such as seatbelt usage and monitoring speeding, and work with the Geotab team to solve for this, to get us some information on that we could use to keep our teammates safer. Fast forward all these years, obviously a lot has changed. It's a lot more robust, but back then there were some other specific things that we've done around specific time rules engines, time-based information, so we could create custom rules for things. Some of that exists today from work that was done many, many years ago. So super proud of Rollins for being a leader in this area.
No, listen, those are stuff that we love to hear, and we actually thank you for being here. And so Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about GoGPS and GoAnalytics?
Sure. GoGPS was one of the first Geotab resellers in Canada. And actually, prior to becoming a Geotab reseller, the founder of the company, Simon Williams, worked in a separate company with Tom Wally, who's now one of the engineers at Geotab. And they were actually one of the people who helped Geotab reverse engineer the seatbelt information from some of the early Ford Rangers. And so fast forward to now, GoGPS still has an office in Canada, and we have 2 locations in Florida. GoAnalytics was founded 6 years ago, and Rollins has been at the forefront of that. It's only been on the marketplace for about a year, but Rollins has been using it for 6 years.
Listen, and that's definitely great to hear, and I know over hearing so many positive comments from a lot of our resellers on the success of GoAnalytics. So I'm really excited to hear more about that through our conversation today. And again, thank you for joining us in this conversation. So let's just jump right into it. Mark, so tell us a little bit about Rollins and Rollins' business.
Yeah, so Rollins is a global company that delivers pest control to homes and businesses through subsidiaries and franchises. We do that through a number of leading brands, large brand, internationally known Orkin, as well as a number of regional brands such as Home Team, Northwest, Western, Waltham, Critter Control, and many more. We service in excess of 2.8 million homes and businesses, and do that in the US, Canada, Australia, UK, Singapore, and many, many other countries. We run a fleet of, as you said, about 17,000 vehicles. We have about 20,000 employees. But what makes Rollins special to me is the people. And when I think of the people, they certainly are good people. They're good at what they do, and they take great care of their customers. But then I think of our brands, and the brands are very, very special to me. That's where I came from. But we spend great amount of time through our acquisition process to find good companies to partner with. And I think we've added some great ones to our portfolio that do a wonderful job, very, very unique in some of the things they do. So just a great company to be a part of.
Listen, that's so great to hear, and it reminds me of the Geotab ecosystem as well. So we're a family-owned organization, and the essence of the people and the culture is what makes Geotabs successful and special. So I really love to hear that from the Rollins team as well. So Mark, talk about simplifying telematics, right? So how do you simplify in telematics data for all these combined brands that you have?
Yeah, so we want our managers and our field folks to spend more time focused on their teammates and their customers. But we know they play an important role in fleet and safety. So our job is to figure out how do we simplify that experience so the role that they play is not as complex, right? So we spend a lot of time with Kevin and his team trying to make sure the data is very actionable, very easy to digest. The fleet and safety space are data-rich environments, right? But we can't overwhelm people with too much information that they can't take action on or know what to do with it. So we spend a lot of time kind of boiling that down. And I would say that the GoAnalytics dashboard that we use really does a good job of taking a lot of complex data and putting it into bite-sized chunks that regardless of what someone wants to focus on, whether it's driver behavior, engine diagnostics, or a number of other things, they can find actionable behaviors that they can work on. So I find it to be intuitive, easy to use, and easy to follow.
That's definitely great to hear. That's definitely great to hear. So with that being said, let's dive into GoAnalytics, right? So Kevin, let's talk about your solution. So GoAnalytics was born out of the need to make safety simpler. How has GoAnalytics been able to support Rollins' goal?
Sure. So yeah, GoAnalytics was created for Rollins. It was never intended to be a marketplace product to offer to other resellers. Working with Rollins' team over the past 10 years, we've learned so much from them on how do they want to see and how they want data presented to them from a branch level to a C-suite level. And so we continued to, send them more data. And, 5-6 years ago, it was like, okay, we have enough. We're getting data from all these different sources. We need it simplified. And so that was kind of the message we heard loud and clear from them. And so we took that back and we started developing something that didn't really exist. And so from that, we started creating just simple dashboards. Then presenting that to their team, showing them, okay, if we showed you the information like this, what would you be able to do with it? And from that, it just progressed. Your team would tell us, we'd like you to be able to add this. I'd like to export it from here. I need to be able to coach on this behavior. It would be great from here if we're able to take this and go to the map, or send this to a manager or escalate it, and different things like that. And so the progression of the product has been 100% led by Rollins' team. And that's why I think it resonates with so many people and so many other fleets out there, is because it's a customer-built product. It's not an engineered product. It wasn't built to go mass market and sell to everyone. It was really built from a need and necessity to make the data more accessible and easier.
Now, that makes a lot of sense. And what I'm hearing is you go to the customer, you get to understand what the customer's needs are, goals are, and then you take that feedback and implement it into the solution, a customized solution just for them. So that's definitely great to hear. The successes you've seen from it, can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, there's a lot of packed into the answer that he just gave about all the enhancements that were made, and he was able to do that because he's very much aligned with what Rollins wanted, listened to what we were trying to solve for, and kind of really understood the issue, and so we partnered very well on that. So that's why he was able to do it. He just didn't run off and put together something that he hoped would work. We kind of partnered through the process, and that's why I think it's been successful.
And you knew it worked because it was actually built on feedback and needs from your organization.
Which is still how we operate today.
That's amazing. So Mark, how have you created a culture of safety within Rollins?
So Rollins has had a culture of continuous improvement long before me, but what we try to do is build upon that. I would certainly say that over the last several years, we've probably taken it up a notch, which I really enjoy. Our leaders are focused on making sure our teammates make it to their most important stop of the day, which is home. So we spend a lot of time trying to figure out how we can improve our safety performance, how we can make it safer for our teammates. So there's a lot of things that we do. I would tell you, when I think of our drivers, we drive so many miles. We tell our folks, you're also professional drivers that do pest control. We put a lot of miles on our vehicles, so we need to treat that with the respect that it deserves. So we spend a lot of time with training, specifically with new hires, to make sure that they're comfortable with the vehicles and know what the expectations are and understand the data and the device that's in there. We want to make sure the managers understand their role in managing their folks and leading their folks and coaching them. But then from there, my safety director and I, every quarter we're presenting the safety performance for the company at our quarterly business reviews. So we share the information and share where there's opportunities to improve and where we're doing well. And in fact, I recall it was probably last year in the third quarter, Kevin actually joined one of the meetings that we had with our leadership to share some of the enhancements that were being built into the GoAnalytics platform, so they understood the journey that we were on and could be aligned around that. So we do a lot of different things.
Oh, that's good. And Kevin, I'd like you to elaborate. How is it being in those meetings? What do you get out of those meetings? What's the value that you feel being in those meetings with the upper management?
Yeah, no, it's incredibly insightful to understand kind of what they're looking to see in the metrics and the data and how they want to see it. So that helps reshape the way we want to present some of that data. So it makes it easy for the fleet and safety team to be able to pull that information out and be able to present it to them on a QBR. And so it's extremely insightful, to speak with those leaders and, be a part of those conversations.
And it gets to what I think we spoke about was he gets a chance to hear directly from his customer. Right. So as much as we interact with his team and we give feedback, inevitably when you meet with another group of folks, somebody sees something that we didn't think of or another perspective that maybe we didn't think of, and he gets to hear it firsthand, gets to vet out the question, understand what we're trying to solve for, and then potentially make a change that solves a challenge that they have or an opportunity that they see.
And listen, that's a very good point, because one of the things from a signature perspective, what we try to do is learn from other clients, learn from other customers, what their journeys were, what success means, like what success is to them, and then share a lot of that information amongst our customers. So it's a learning environment, not just hearing from a fleet manager or a safety person. We hear from the entire organization of what success looks like for them, and then we try to incorporate a plan. So it's very good to see and hear having Kevin at a seat at the table to meet with your leadership
And we
team.
do that as I think of events that you have, whether it's Geotab Connect, Rollins is always searching out other companies that are similar to us, similar type of fleet, or top tier safety companies that we could potentially learn from, maybe share some information with them. They can share some information with us where, there's no secrets when it comes to driver safety. We want to make sure folks are safe. And if we can learn something from someone, or if we can give someone a tip on something, we're always looking to partner with someone to do that.
Yeah, I like that point. Safety is a universal language, right? Everyone wants to be safe. Everyone wants their drivers to be safe. And like you said, everyone wants to make that last stop at home, and they want to get there with their families. So thank you for that. So Mark, how has Rollins seen improvement in risk score behaviors?
Yeah, so when I think of improving performance, if you want to move the numbers, you have to move the people, and that to me involves the coaching of the employee and communicating directly with those frontline teammates to help them understand where they may have opportunities to improve and where they're doing well. So as we saw some improvements in our safety scores, to me the secret sauce was around the coaching and the engagement from our managers to our teammates, which I think we're doing a nice job with. Some additional tools that we've armed them with is some daily notifications on some of the high-risk behaviors, things like speeding over a certain amount, harsh braking, suspected collision, things that are certainly very concerning that we want to make sure the manager has that information as quickly as possible so they can reach out to those teammates and see what's going on, correct behavior if they need to, and take the coaching that needs to be done. And certainly we've seen some improvements in that. Very proud of the team.
Very good to hear on that. So Kevin, let's talk about cameras. So how are cameras being brought into the safety dashboards? Yeah,
so I'll give you a little story on Rollins and their kind of journey on some camera stuff. So, they're always an early adopter. Sometimes they look and think they're behind and everything like that, but then when they talk with other fleets and we talk, they're actually miles ahead of a lot of people in safety culture and the way that they kind of operate with continuous improvement. And so 5 or 6 years ago, and one of the other reasons why GoAnalytics was created is they did a deploy of cameras, one of their brands down in Florida, it was a deploy of about 40 or 50 cameras. And we put it out, and they ran it for a few months, and they were getting a ton of information. The data was great. It was very good. Even had an accident, a couple different things that we thought, wow, this is great. They're going to adopt this. This is, we're going to see some success from this. And the feedback from the manager and their leadership was, even if we got this data for free right now, and the cameras, we didn't have to pay for it, we wouldn't use it. It's too much information. And I was just blown away by that answer. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, really? I thought there was so much value here. And so that, we took that to heart, and that was kind of the aha moment for us to start building GoAnalytics. Okay, they need to see this better. They need the data funneled down to an actionable format that a branch manager can use, and then the leader of the company or the brand can look at a high level and use. And so we created dashboards, we created simplified workflows for coaching, and that really was the forefront of them being an early adopter, not initially rolling out those cameras, really put us in a position to understand what their frontline leaders needed in order to coach and work through that safety, that safety journey. And now they do have some cameras in some locations, and what our system's able to do is actually Rollins, for example, has 2 different cameras vendors, and they feed into the same system. So both those camera vendors feed into the same system. So for their operations team, it's the exact same workflow for them, and leadership can see coaching and engagement and progress and safety, kind of throughout the journey the same way for both those.
And that was a follow-up question I actually have for you, and you actually hit on a point. So Geotab always talks about the power of choice, right? And we have a slew of camera solutions in our marketplace. Now, one of the benefits I'm hearing for you, it doesn't matter which camera solution this customer uses, you still have the ability to bring in this data points into your dashboards the same exact way. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. What we think we've done a great job doing is connecting the data for operations as well as C-suite to be able to view that data from a high level and then take action on it.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Glad to hear that. Mark, anything you want to add into that, or?
It gets back to what we talked about earlier. You can have information overload and then you don't even know where to start. So putting it in one central place where the manager can take actionable improvements on it, that's the key to success.
Perfect.
The device alone is not the solution.
Exactly. So question for you, how are you using Geotab Telematics and GoAnalytics for maintenance? Let's shift into a different realm, into maintenance.
Yeah, so since I also lead the fleet team, I would say my fleet team definitely uses this on a regular basis. So as they work with our fleet management company and look at maintenance compliance across the fleet, we want to keep an eye on also if there's any engine diagnostics or any engine warnings that we ought to be concerned about. So it's very easily accessible in the GoAnalytics dashboard, so you can see, maybe there's a high temperature reading that's of concern, oil levels, things like that now you can potentially reach directly out to a manager and say, hey, we see a warning light here, we see some information, get it into the shop before it potentially has a much more expensive fix that has to be done. So very easily accessible, and then we get a weekly summary from Kevin's team as well of all the vehicles, so we have a handle on what the opportunities are.
Yeah, what I love to hear is the partnership. I keep hearing the partnership that you guys have between each other. So if there's something you need, reach out to Kevin. Kevin goes in, he finds a solution, brings it back to you to say, this is what I need, or this is where we need to adjust, right? So that key partnership, I think, is strong to get you guys to see the benefits of the solution, not just Geotab, but also the GoAnalytics solution.
Well, and Rollins is huge on partnerships, and we also work with their FMC very closely. We're on meetings with them, sharing data for many different points, just to make sure, Rollins is the customer, and, we should all be working together to make sure that they get the best product and, and the best service as possible.
Kevin and his team are an extension of our team. We don't operate in a silo. We want to make him part of the team. He's in meetings with us, so he gets to hear perspective, he gets to hear feedback, which allows him to inform changes that he may or may not want to make into the system.
And the recipe that you guys just talked about equals success, right? And that, at the end of the day, Geotab ecosystem, we want to make sure you guys are successful, and I think strong partnerships are the key to being successful, which is great. So Kevin, I have a question for you. How do you support each brand, division, region, and branch with all this data that you're receiving?
Sure. So yeah, of course, it's a ton of different data. And the way we've built our reporting structure within the Rollins database allows for them to be able to go in and see their own brand worth of data, so they can see all their data and they can see all their locations and subcategories underneath there. But then senior leadership can go in and from a high level see the whole company, and in one click they can know, okay, where's my highest risk driver, brand. And then on a flip side, they can also go in and say, where's my most improved locations? Where are we seeing success? Where do we need to put some positive recognition? So the way that the data is structured in our reporting, in our dashboards, in our leaderboards, all those things are catered to operation level, but also C-suite level. So it makes it very easy, to take a very high level view of the whole company, or from a branch level, they can come in and look at the data very simply at their location.
That's perfect. That's perfect. It's good to hear. And in the cluster analysis, Geotab shows Rollins as a peer group leader in vehicle utilization. So Kevin, I'd like to have you and Mark have a conversation about this topic, utilization, right? So how did you leverage Geotab's data to support the utilization needs for Rollins?
Yeah, so back in 2020, 2021, during the COVID days, when vehicles were very difficult to source, we were pulling some utilization data, and it was a little bit cumbersome and difficult to get to the answers quickly for their team. And so they're like, Kevin, is there a better way? And so we created a utilization dashboard for them and report that's interactive, so they could go back and look at the last quarter for all of their vehicles, or just a segment of their vehicles in a certain region or division or brand, and then say, hey, I need this vehicle to be moved from one location to another because we have an immediate need over here, we can't find a vehicle. So the report was made so that it's interactive, so you can type in a F-150 or need a Corolla, and quickly they can take action on that vehicle, see how many miles it has, make sure everything's good with it, and then redeploy that asset to another part of the business.
Mark, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, there's also a host of other things that we do with the data in this area that is maybe not the traditional telematics use of data around geofencing, and so we do a lot with our fleet team that and Kevin can speak to it probably better than me, but we try to know right from the vehicle when it gets upfit and the device goes in all the way through to the time it's delivered. We'll want to know how long was it at the upfit, or how long was it potentially at the dealer. We want to make sure that when vehicles are being delivered to a dealer, they're not aging for too long before we pick them up. So we've got great visibility based on the fact that he's geofenced great many of the dealerships that we use. So we can see very quickly if a vehicle's aging too long at a dealer, we can reach out to the managers and let them know. Similarly, around service, collision's a perfect example. If we got a vehicle that's at a collision shop for what we consider to be too long, we've got those geofenced through his team, and we can have visibility on vehicles that may be at a collision shop for too long that we can address as well. And there's probably a host of them we're not even thinking of.
Yeah, and working with your FMC team, they're able to say, hey, this is where the vehicles are being repaired. Send us that information. We're able to geofence those locations and reprocess data and see how long are vehicles sitting there, and then set up notifications and workflows to make sure that vehicles aren't sitting at those locations for too long. As well, we also have every auction in the United States and Canada geofenced as well. So as soon as they're ready to turn a vehicle in, it's picked up, it gets delivered there after 24 hours, they get a notification so that vehicles are turned off, the data is being disabled, so that they're not paying for assets that they're not using. So
now listen, one of the key things that I'm hearing, and we talk about the Geotab ecosystem, and the partnership that you guys have encompasses that ecosystem, whether it's leveraging you guys for an order now marketplace solution, or sending data to their FMCs, or being sitting at a table with their upper management or leadership team. Like, that really encompasses the solution, whether it's cameras, or the buzzword, right? And everyone wants to know, which camera should I use, which is the right camera for me, right? But at the end of the day, for you, it's about the data that they're receiving from these camera providers and how you have it work or make sense for an organization like Rollins.
Yeah, there's, everybody knows the traditional use of telematics to measure some behaviors, but there's just so many creative ways, as we've talked about, that we use the data that's really been beneficial, not only to the safety team, but certainly to the fleet team to manage all those assets. It's been great.
So this question is going to be for both of you guys. I'd like to get your perspective on this question. Where do you see the future for GoGPS and Rollins as technology progresses or changes?
Yeah, so I'll kick it off. So Kevin has had, and his team have had a great relationship with Rollins for a long time, but I would say we're probably working closer now than we ever had, aligned on so many great projects. We've got some things in queue that we think are going to be important for us to do over the next few months and years. So we're very, very closely aligned. And as we talked about in the conversation, he's engaged with our team. He gets invites to meetings that he gets frontline face-to-face opportunity with our customer, with our field. So that informs the things he needs to work on. So I like where we're going. I like the partnership that we have with him, and I appreciate what him and his team do for us.
Thank you so much. And Kevin?
Yeah, no, super excited about the future, kind of the things we're building. Mark has an amazing team, behind him, and they have great ideas, and the safety culture and the roadmap that they've laid out is phenomenal. And so I feel like we're just at the beginning, and we've made some great progress till now, but kind of with the things we're building with their team, I'm super excited for the rest of the year, and how we're going to drive more safety at a driver level. And I think it's going to be an amazing, finish to the year.
Now, listen, the key thing that I took away from something you said earlier is Kevin is an extended part of the Rollins organization, right? So I think that relationship says it all. Being able to be as close as you guys need to pivot or make changes or innovate, right? Kevin is there to help you guys continue that journey, whether it's something now or forward thinking. So I definitely love, again, going back to the partnership. I think the partnership is key to success. So I really love to hear that. So I think that's it that we have for the questions for you guys right now. So I want to turn to some questions from the audience. And one of the questions that came in, and Mark, this is going to be for you. What does a driver experience and interaction with the data look like?
Yeah, so I would say what it is right now is as our folks come in for let's say their check-ins or in communication with their managers, a manager can show them the dashboard and show them what the actual behaviors look like and where there's opportunity to improve and where there's opportunity to potentially be safer. Or the converse to that is recognize the folks that are doing an amazing job. We have so many drivers that have the most unbelievably good safety scores, and we want to be celebrating that. So I would say that's what they're doing right now, and our managers, I think, do a good job making sure those folks are recognized for the good work they're doing. And then if there's opportunity to improve, we certainly want to share that as well. We want folks to be safe.
Nice. Love to hear it.
I can touch on that a little bit. Just part of the driver journey for the Rollins team is bringing Geotab Drive into the mix for all their drivers. So not only can they do their DVIRs and do vehicle checks, but now they'll be able to see their safety scores, get positive recognition, have coaching, and training videos and all that kind of in the same spot for the drivers. So the driver journey is definitely an area of focus for us.
So shifting from the vehicles and focusing on the drivers.
Absolutely.
Nice. And Kevin, this question is for you. So what would you recommend to enterprise fleets that are looking to implement cameras in the future?
Sure. I think that's a great question. A lot of people, Mark touched on it earlier, is that they think if we take the best technology or any camera and we just put it on the windshield, it's going to fix all our problems. And you may see a week or two of curbed behaviors, but really what you have to do is you have to start a successful safety culture. And that's what Rollins has really been doing, for a long time, but they've really narrowed down and focused in the last, year to 2 years with us on kind of setting a path and creating a journey to open up the conversation with their drivers, open up them for coaching and feedback, and then as well as positive recognition. And what that does is then sets the foundation to be able to bring video into the conversation and really have the employees feel like the reason for the camera is we do want you to get home safe, as opposed to we want to catch you doing something, because all companies are looking to retain their drivers. Nobody wants to get rid of people. Good people are hard to find. And so, really building that confident safety culture throughout the fleet before you implement cameras. And that's kind of how the GoAnalytics journey with Rollins is progressing, building the confidence with the locations, getting them used to talking and doing those coaching sessions, and then bringing video into that to kind of close the loop and make sure that they continue the safety culture.
Perfect. And I have one final question that came in. So someone asked, how can they implement GoAnalytics into their fleet?
Sure. So GoAnalytics is on the software order now. So it's very easy to simply just enroll. You go into the marketplace, Geotab marketplace, and click enroll. And what that does is just starts a workflow for us to reach out to you and to consult with your reseller and you as a customer to get your data set up, import it, and kind of set it up exactly how you want to review it.
Okay, thank you. And listen, again, I want to thank you both for not just allowing us to sit down and have a conversation, but giving us the time to sit down and have this conversation with you guys. But again, my key takeaway and something that the Signature team also prides on is relationships. And I think you guys have a strong relationship and partnership that really makes the ecosystem, Geotab ecosystem, successful. So I want to thank you again, Mark, being the first Geotab US customer, and Kevin, you again for joining us in this connected conversation today. So thank you guys, and we'll end it on that note.